Bhakti Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bando moe savadana mate Bando moe savadana mate Jahara prasade bai e bhavatoriya jai Jahara prasade bai e bhavatoriya jai Krishna prapti hoye ate Krishna prapti Krishna prapti hoye jaha ate Guru mukha padma vakya sitete koriya akya Guru mukha padma vakya sitete koriya akya Arana koriyo mane asha Arana koriyo mane asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Yaprasade pure sarva asha Yaprasade pure sarva asha Chakshudan diloje janme janme Prabhu se. Dan diloje janme janme. Chakshudan diloje janme janme Prabhu se. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakasito. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakasito. Prema Bhakti Jaha Oite Avidya Vinasha Jate. Bhakti Jaha Oite Avidya. Prema Bhakti Jaha Oite Avidya Vinasha Jate. Vede Gai Jahara Karito. Vede Gai Jahara Karito. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Lokanath Lokera Jivana. Lokanath Lokera Jivana. Lokanath Lokera Jivana. Ha Prabhu Koro Daya. Deho More Pada Chaya. Ha Prabhu Koro. Ha ha Prabhu Koro Daya. Deho More Pada Chaya. Ebe Jasha Jishik Tribhuvana. Ebe Jasha Jishik Tribhuvana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora Haribol. Nitai Gora Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora Haribol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Brahmacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasyata Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Shri Krishna. Bring a mic, bring a mic. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Jaya Radha, Radhanatha, Radha, Radhanatha, Shri Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Gaura Haribol.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Ashtotara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamkund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, and a very warm welcome to the last Sunday Love Feast program of 2025 here at the Sri Sri Radharadhanath Temple. A very special welcome to anyone that is joining us for the first time and to our online viewers. As we all know, 2025 marked 50 years since the arrival of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada in South Africa. To commemorate this historical milestone, we would now like to watch a short video presentation.
So, this time, in this life, I may become very big man, big politician, big diplomat, big businessman. But next life, after your death, it is your greatness of this material will not help you. That will depend on your work, and nature will offer you a certain type of body you'll have to accept. Of course, you'll forget. That is the concession given by nature, just like we do not remember what we had been in our past life. If I remember that suppose I was a king in my past life, now I have become a dog, then how much suffering it will be. Therefore, by nature's law, one forgets. And death means this forgetfulness. Death means this forgetfulness. So this is a great science. People do not know it. Our Krishna consciousness movement is very scientific, authorized. So our business is to enlighten people as far as possible, and at the same time we must remain enlightened. We may not be again covered by the darkness of Maya. That you should be. That you can keep yourself very fit, not to be covered by the Maya. Mami vaja prapadanti mayami tang taranti. If you very strictly adhere to the principle of Krishna consciousness, then Maya will not be able to touch you. That is the only remedy. Otherwise, Maya is always looking after the opportunity, loophole, how she can capture you again. But if you remain strictly in Krishna consciousness, Maya will not be able to do anything. Mami vaja prapadanti daividjisa gunamai mama maya duratta. It is very difficult to get out of the clutches of Maya. It is very difficult. But Krishna says, Mami vaja prapadanti mayami tang taranti. If one is strictly adherent to the lotus feet of Krishna, always, therefore this program is 24 hours thinking of Krishna. Satatam, satatam, chintayat Krishna. Caitanya sadahari. These are the recommendations. So if we simply think of Krishna, if you cannot do anything, simply think of it. That is the highest meditational purpose. So, always chant Hare Krishna mantra, be in touch with Krishna in so many ways, then you are secure. Maya will not be able to touch you. And if we can somewhere or other pass our days, and at the time of death we remember Krishna, then the whole life is successful. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna once again, and a warm welcome if you are just joining us now. Before we start with today's program, we'd like to request that everyone switch off their phones or turn them onto silent mode. Today's class is titled Staying in Krishna Consciousness and will be delivered by His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami. Maharaj doesn't need any introduction, but for those of us that are new here, His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami is a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and has been preaching Krishna consciousness since 1973. As an initiating spiritual master in ISKCON, he serves on the GBC and travels extensively to preach in countries like South Africa, India, and Russia. He is also an accomplished author, photographer, and filmmaker. I would now like to hand over to Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Jai Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Bharadhare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Bharadhare Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopijana Balava Giribaradhare Gopijana Balava Giribaradhare Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Vishpad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Status Samad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Shri Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Sankirtan Yagya Ki Go Premanande. All glories to the Simul devotees. All glories to the Simul devotees. All glories to the Simul devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome everyone, and it's too late, but Merry Christmas anyway, and it's too early, but Happy New Year in the next few days, what to do. Anyway, as you heard, our subject is staying in Krishna consciousness, staying in Krishna consciousness, which of course assumes that we are already Krishna conscious to start off with, or at least at this stage. Anyway, let us say a few things about this. We do a seminar, it's called Getting and Giving Good Association, and Getting and Giving Bad Association. Looking at the subject from kind of like all the different points of view, you could say, but it's a very important subject. And in regards to staying in Krishna consciousness or getting into Krishna consciousness like this, you know, these subjects are really of great importance and value if we can get inspired to get good association, or inspired by getting good association, and then giving good association, then that'll be extremely good for us. And avoiding bad association and not being bad association, at least this is what I was thinking about in regards to the subject just earlier on today. Let me just chant a few prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschitya Deshatarane Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadha, Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So let us begin by reading a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is First Canto, Chapter 18, verse 13. 1:18:13. So, Sanskrit goes, Tulayama lavenapi, naswargam napunarbhavam, bhagavat sangi sangasya, martya nam kim utashisha. And the translation, the value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter, and what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. That's very clear, isn't it? Very emphatic. The value of the association of devotees, and even just very brief. But of course, particularly if there's regular association available, then we can just imagine must be of very great benefit and not just worthy of having, but essential to have. And, you know, there is another verse, I don't know if anyone's noting things down, that was 1:18:13. There is another verse, which is 4th canto, chapter 30, verse 34. 4:30-34. And here is the Sanskrit. Let's test you to see if you really caught it just a minute ago. So that verse goes, Tulayama lavenapi naswargam napunarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kim utashisha. What did you notice? Did you notice anything between these two verses? Or are you too humble? Did you notice? Anyone notice anything? Yes. Swarup Damodar Prabhu. Welcome. Well, Swarup Damodar Prabhu, who is an ocean of understandings and good qualities, he said they're basically the same verse. Well, actually, they're exactly the same verse. They are actually, to the letter, the same verse. And interesting little point, in principle, that later on in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is the story of Lord Krishna encountering a demon named Pondraka. We won't get into the details of the story, although it's, well worth getting into. But the thing is that the author, in describing this encounter, the author makes the point that Pondraka was such an incredible fool that he was trying to imitate Krishna. Somehow or other, he also had blue skin, and somehow or other, I don't know how he did it, that it was not natural, but somehow or other, he had an extra 2 arms. Somehow he arranged that. So the author says, this man was such a fool. And then a few verses later, he says effectively the same thing. And one of our great acharyas makes the point that just see, he has more or less, basically, repeated himself. And then the Acharya makes the point that, and just catch this one if you're trying to read the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, but you haven't made it yet to the end. He says, Srimad Bhagavatam is such a small book. Did you get that? He says it's such a small book that and there's just so much information in it, that if you find something repeated, it must be of extreme importance. That's what he says. So here, and this is the person, the author repeating himself, that this person was such a fool. So here we have a verse, 1:18:13 and 4:30:34. They're actually verbatim, precisely the same, and they're emphasizing the association of devotees as being of such, inestimable, incalculable value that you can't compare it to basically anything, like the liberation from the material world, like going to the demigods' planets, and what to speak of just ordinary benefits like what you get in this world. I read, I think yesterday, in America there was a lottery and someone won $1 billion. That's what it said. But that, according to these two verses, or this verse repeated, it's of no value. It's not very valuable, not so valuable. It just doesn't have any value compared to the association of devotees, or a devotee, and even just like momentary association. So, yes, in regards to this idea of how we're going to stay Krishna conscious, of course there are different things that we can say, and we could do a seminar on it. We should chant better, we should serve better, we should read certain books, and so on. There's all sorts of things that we can say, and they're all very, very nice indeed. But here we're just focusing on this point. Getting, and then once you get, you can give. Without getting something, you can't really give it. Good association, and getting and giving bad association. How to get and then give good association, and how to avoid getting and avoid becoming bad association. These are some things they're very worthy of consideration. And I'd like to, because I think so many of you are well read, some of you are very well read in Srila Prabhupada's books, and others of you, you've been at our programs many times, so you're aware of so many things at least. But here's a few examples of people who got good association, and the benefit was just, transformative in the extreme for the one who got the association. So here we go. Let's see. Now, if you've read the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, then you would know that Narada Muni, when he was a little boy, means like preschool basically, or something like that, maybe 5-ish or something like that. He got the association of some great devotees. The Bhagavatam uses the term Bhakti Vedantas. Bhakti Vedantas, like very advanced devotees. He got the association of them because they came during the rainy season, when the devotees, like the sannyasis and others who travel around during the year preaching, etc. But during the rainy season they can't really do that, at least not easily. So generally they go and stay for those few months with some nice householder devotees. And so these Bhaktivedantas, some small group of them, they stayed with Narada Muni's mother. So they stayed there, and Narada Muni got their association in the form of, sometimes he would just sit and listen to them talking, discussing Krishna consciousness. Other times he would do some things to help them, like serve prasadam, take away the plates and things afterwards, and maybe, I don't know, maybe wash their clothes perhaps, or just clean up around so they could stay in a very nice sattvic atmosphere. But he did like that, basically. And after doing like that for those weeks or few months, they blessed him. They blessed him. And they said, yes, we'll pray to Krishna that you become a very nice devotee as you grow up. So, in fact, that's what happened. Because he then became, it was step by step. Krishna consciousness tends to be step by step. But he became the great devotee, Narada Muni, who's like topmost devotee practically. In fact, I've got a list here of devotees or people who became devotees because they got good association. And would you believe at least half of them in the list, they became devotees because they got the association of Narada Muni. Yeah, so he really transformed into just an extremely special devotee through the association of these Bhaktivedantas, advanced devotees. So that's a very nice example, and if you've got Bhagavatam, just have a look in the first canto. It's right there in the first several chapters. That story, Narada Muni's telling his own story, how he got good association, which changed him from just little boy around the house to great devotee. Then here's something else. Well, famous story, I imagine you must have heard it at least a few times. Haridas Thakur gave his association to Shishi Radha Radhanath Sri Giri Govardhan Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Haridas Thakur gave his association, or should we say, one prostitute, would you believe? One prostitute got the association of Haridas Thakur, and, probably you've heard the story before. She was engaged by some very envious materialistic person to try to corrupt Haridas Thakur and drag him down. And he had, the materialist had some policemen there watching the scene. I wonder if our little baby, you probably know, little babies are in a different world from us. They may physically be in our world, but they're elsewhere in consciousness. So did you notice in the video, a child started crying and Prabhupada didn't say anything, but he stopped talking. Did you notice that? I was waiting to see if he said something. Haribol! That's anyway, Mum, maybe we should do something actually to facilitate the mums. Yeah, because it's not easy. So anyway, there we were, Haridas Thakur, prostitute. So yeah, these policemen were there to, they're watching they're in hiding. And when, something happens, so to speak, they're just going to come out and arrest him. But that didn't happen, because even though she was actually, like on an ongoing basis, a professional prostitute, in fact. But by the association of Haridas Thakur, again without going through too much detail, by the next morning, well, what happened? Let me just say a couple of things. He was chanting, doing his 300,000 names of Krishna. And if you want to know how many rounds that is, divide it by 1,728, and you've got it. But it's something 160, 170 rounds. So he would do that every day, and she came and she was sitting there, and she said, you know, I'd like to, quote unquote, associate with you. And he said, look, you know, I got to finish my rounds. So she sat and waited and fell asleep. By the time she woke up the next morning, he was still chanting, and she said, you haven't finished your rounds yet? And he said, no, that was yesterday's rounds. Now I'm doing today's rounds. So anyway, by the time he finished that day's rounds, she was also transformed. She was a devotee, like a really, really serious devotee, and just regretting what she had been doing before. Like, it was just horrific. And you know, fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Of course, these are special examples, special devotees. Narada Muni, those Bhaktivedantas and Haridas Thakur, but any association with any sincere type of devotee, even if they're not so advanced, it's extremely beneficial. Here's a couple more. Well, talking about Narada Muni again, Narada Muni, how many, well, you've all seen the Nrsingadev movie, right? Right. I saw it twice. And Prahlad, when he was in the womb of his mother, the same Narada Muni who just became a great devotee we were explaining, he was looking after Prahlad's mother in his ashram while Hiranyakashipu was away doing his austerities. And he was preaching to her. She didn't really get so much, but he, within the womb, he got it. He really got it. Even though he was just within the womb of his mother, which definitely says something for ladies who are expecting to give birth in the nearish future. You know, keep transcendental sound vibration in the air. Don't underestimate the child, the baby, too much. So anyway, he got it. And later on, even though he hadn't seen Narada Muni again for quite some time, he, in fact, after Hiranyakashipu is killed, Prahlad expresses his great appreciation for Narada Muni as his spiritual master. So that's another example of getting good association even in quite extraordinary circumstances. And let's say, I mean, there's all sorts do you know the story of Kali Das? No. Anyway, let's just say there was a devotee. He was an uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis, associates of Lord Caitanya. And he was so appreciative of devotees. He was an elderly person, so he was not working. But every day he would go out to find devotees and to get 3 things, as much as he could during the course of the day, to get some dust from the lotus feet of as many devotees as possible, get some water that had washed their feet, and get some remnants of their prasadam. That's what he would do. How's that for a daily program? He didn't do anything else at all. So, as a result of that, Caitanya Charitamrita explains he received the supreme mercy of Lord Caitanya, more than anyone else, including, some really great devotees. But he got some special mercy. And specifically, there was one little incident that, it wasn't just one time, when Lord Caitanya was going to have darshan of the deities in the Jagannath temple, before going up the stairs, there's a sort of a ditch or something like that. And Lord Caitanya would have his feet washed, just sort of holding his feet over that kind of little ditch type thing. So he would have his feet washed before going into the temple, because he wanted to be very clean. So Kalidas, Lord Chaitanya's foot is out, the water is being poured. Kalidas came in with cupped hands and got some and drank it. And then a second time and drank it. And then a third time and drank it. And Lord Caitanya could see this is going on, but he didn't say anything until it came to the 4th time. And then he said, listen, Kalidas, that's enough, okay? So he stopped him. But this was going on a regular basis. And Lord Caitanya would not let anyone really wash his feet or take the water that had washed his feet. There's an incident in the cleaning of the Gundicha temple. Lord Caitanya is on the altar, cleaning the altar, it's kind of like a box. It's just an oblong sort of thing, no elaborate decorations. So he was kneeling on top, cleaning it with his feet over the edge. And some devotee, Bengali devotee, came sort of nonchalantly along with some container of water, poured it nonchalantly over Lord Chaitanya's feet, and another Bengali devotee, watch out for the Bengali devotees, came in and tried to catch some water. And Lord Caitanya caught him and really chastised him and called Swarup Damodar Goswami, who was one of the most senior of his associates and who was Bengali and the leader of the Bengali devotees. And he said to Swarup Damodar Goswami, just see what your Bengali devotee did. At the very least he didn't allow it. Although Caitanya Charitamrita says, he was pleased, but still, to set an example, he really acted strongly. But Kalidas, in front of all the devotees, because Lord Caitanya, particularly in Puri, he was always surrounded by devotees, and they'd see this going on. Kalidas getting this water. So therefore, the Caitanya Charitamrita says he got the supreme mercy of Lord Caitanya because he appreciated the devotees so much and got some dust from their feet, some of the water that had washed their feet, and some of their food remnants. So again, this is getting getting good association. Now, we don't want to start some sort of, a little unusual sociological phenomenon that now during lunch everyone is trying to take prasadam from everyone else's plates or anything of that sort. But it's definitely something to bear in mind. So that's some getting. We should get good association. We should get good association. And that means, of course, in one sense, with the most advanced devotees possible, when possible. But at least in a general sense, it means getting association of nice devotees. Sort of, normal devotees, you could say. Like that, because to be a normal devotee, that's pretty good. It's really very good. And we shouldn't think like, I know many of you, and I know you've been coming for years and even decades, and you know everyone, and, if I say, you should take the association of regular devotees, then I hope you're not thinking, oh, you mean like him, that one, who, I know what he's like. I mean, he comes, but, there's a fault-finding tendency which comes from being in material life and unfortunately having to associate with a lot of people who have faults, like really have faults. But with devotees, we should try and look on sort of the bright side. Prabhupada would say, the flies, they go for dirty things, but the bees, they go for the sweet things, the nectar from the flowers, and they produce honey. So even though, you probably know dozens, maybe hundreds of devotees, and a lot of them are sort of normal devotees and not like, super duper devotees. But we should try to, when we see other devotees, we should try to appreciate their good qualities, the good things they're doing, and in this way cultivate a particular type of attitude towards those even normal devotees who you see every Sunday trying to get an extra samosa, which you were hoping to get anyway. You know what I mean, that sort of thing. And then when you get, you can give. If you can't really give what you've not got. But you should try and give good association. Let me just give you one little hint. That everyone is going to go and take prasadam in a little while and sit down in the tent with other devotees around, surrounding them. And what's the normal greeting in South Africa? How are you? Anyway, that's okay. It's nice to be concerned about how devotees are, even if it's more like a formality. But instead of just talking about, how are you doing? How's your health? How's the family? And, what else? What you've been doing on your holidays? Why not try to start a Krishna conscious conversation when we're all down there taking prasadam? Instead of just, how are you? There's one conversation of Prabhupada's where a reporter asked him, how are you? In a very sort of superficial way. And Prabhupada replied, what does it matter to you how I am? And Prabhupada said, if I was dying, what difference would it make to you? Anyway, that's okay, that's Prabhupada, and the man was being sort of obviously just not serious. But at least today, why don't you try it? What do you think? I'll send spies around to tune in and listen to the conversations that are going on. But try and do something like that. Instead of just talking about the weather, in Russia they say that if you meet a person and they've got nothing, they don't really want to talk to you, but they feel they have to say something, they make some comment about the weather. That's what they say. And interestingly enough, in Russia, they do not ask each other, how are you? They don't do it. In fact, I've done it on a few occasions, and the devotee said, well, I'm feeling like this and like that, and he gave me a report on his health. Seriously, because he really thought I wanted to know how he was. But think about that. Think about that and give it a try. Why not? Instead of just, the simple socializing type of exchange, why not say, well, you know what? The other day I was reading something, Bhagavad Gita or whatever, and I read Prabhupada said this and this and this, and then say, well, what do you think about that? And try and start a conversation, which is more like devotee association than just small talk. Yes, okay. Then what about bad association? Well, there's a lot we can say about bad association. We do a seminar about the demons in Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes and how each of those demons, at least as recorded in the Bhagavatam, each one represents a particular anartha in Krishna consciousness, like some bad thing, like a bad habit you might develop, something along those lines. So Kaliya, the Kaliya serpent, represents the anartha, or like undesirable, unwanted thing within one's character, of poisoning the hearts of other devotees, not with like some, strychnine or whatever, but by bad talk. Mm-hmm. Yes, so if you notice something bad, that a devotee is actually doing something wrong, try and help them if you think you're capable. If you're not, don't just go and tell everybody else, but go and tell someone who might be able to help that person. Don't gossip about it. So when we talk about Kaliya, we talk about sometimes it happens, you're walking around the temple, maybe you're chanting a few rounds, walking around the moat, and you meet someone, devotee, who you know to some degree, and they walk up to you and say, Hare Krishna, and then they start talking about, it's often the temple president. The temple president can be a marked man. That such and such, the temple president. Oh yeah, sure, I know him. Well, he's a really nice devotee. Oh yeah, he's a very nice devotee. But then the poisonous one says, but The big but. Yeah, and then out comes some poison. Because the devotee said that, he's a nice devotee, so your mind, your heart may open up a bit, but, and then the poison comes in, and if your heart has been poisoned, if, when you see that the devotee who has been criticized, often the temple president, but whoever it is, when you see that devotee, there's like a spontaneous reaction in your mind that, it's him, the bad devotee, because your mind got poisoned. So, we don't want to get that sort of bad association, criticizing other devotees. And we definitely don't want to give it, and we definitely don't want to get it. So be mindful. Sometimes it happens that a devotee is feeling upset with another devotee, and the upset devotee, and they want to sort of pour their heart out to you, and you feel, well, look, it's my friend, I don't want to just walk away and sort of upset him or her further. So you just sit there and listen to their problems. Not a good policy. Not a good policy. Yeah. If someone starts pouring out their problems, which, may well happen occasionally to any of us, if we should try and help them. If we can't, instead of just listening and sort of soaking up their problems, try and direct them to someone who can actually help them. And this is something positive and can be helpful. But otherwise, if you just soak up like a sponge, you know what I mean, the problems and the dislikes and all that, then you become part of the problem, unavoidably. Just like with a sponge, it soaks up the water, and it just soaks up the water. And that's it. There's no sort of choice involved. So if you soak up the problems, they become part of you, and you become part of the problem. Here, I will close. Hope Mataji notices, I am going to close early. Can you believe it? Unheard of, never before done. What am I going to do? I'm going to try and find something about Raghunath, if I can find it, which I may or may not be able to. About Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Where on earth is it? Anyway, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, he's another one of the 6 Goswamis. And he was such a devotee that, well, my telephone's having a revolution. Anyway, he would not listen to criticism of a devotee. He would just walk away. He would not try and be socially acceptable by, not walking away, just listening. He'd just walk away. And even if the fault which was being talked about was actually true, that actually whoever it was who's being talked about had actually done something wrong, he'd still walk away. He just wouldn't listen. As far as he was concerned, all the devotees are under Krishna's supervision. And if there's a need for anything to be done, Krishna will do it. And I don't need to sort of assume ownership of some problematic situation. I mean, in effect, that's what was said. So please bear these things in mind. Yes, because we want to get off to a good start in a couple of days. Yeah, you could, a New Year's resolution, if you want to try it, you could try and make a New Year's resolution, and you could try and sort of gear yourself up in the next few days to really get good association and really give good association as much as you're able, and to really avoid bad association and really not give bad association as much as possible. And if you really work on that, then it'll help you. And you'll become a better devotee. You'll become a better devotee, and you'll become a happier devotee. Yes. And you'll get mercy. Hare Krishna. Now, look at that. We have 10 minutes, am I right? 9 minutes or something. We got 10 questions. 1 a minute. Oh, at the time of death, while we are asleep, it is hard to remember Krishna. Well, I don't think we really know what it's like for the person who's dying when they're asleep, because none of them have lived to tell the story, because they all died. So, maybe we imagine they just sort of drifted off into dreamland or nowhere land or something. But who knows? I don't think anyone can really say. But the thing is this: death is coming to all of us, even the youngest, even to that little child who was crying earlier. Death is coming, and that's all there is to it. So it's not so much, will I die while I'm asleep? I'd prefer that, because, something like that. Or will I be shot, which is quite possible in South Africa, or will I be run over, which is also quite possible in South Africa, or what? Am I going to get some disease? I wouldn't really worry so much about that, but really the main thing is get your Krishna consciousness together now and keep it together, because then however it happens, whenever it happens, you'll be as ready as kind of humanly possible. So, yeah, just do like that. Is the Bhagavad Gita the best reference book to guide our lives? Well, yes, it is. And Srimad Bhagavatam is also. How's that? 2 best books. And Caitanya Charitamrita is also. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita is particularly, most particularly at least, for new people who are, who could become Krishna conscious. Because that was Arjuna's situation, kind of. He was in a state of great confusion about what to do. And Lord Krishna, and he had all sorts of ideas, kind of materialistic ideas. And Lord Krishna explained to him about becoming Krishna conscious. And Arjuna, as the discussion went on, Arjuna accepted and finally said, right, that's it, I got it. I'm going to surrender to you. So Bhagavad Gita is very relevant for new people. It's very relevant for everyone, actually. But it's Krishna kind of making a presentation which is geared towards people who are not Krishna conscious. Then Srimad Bhagavatam kind of takes off, it starts from where Bhagavad Gita finishes, basically, and goes deeply into the whole science of devotional service by giving all sorts of examples of devotees and non-devotees and what happened to them and different situations and circumstances and how they became Krishna conscious. So Srimad Bhagavatam is very relevant, particularly relevant for practitioners. And Caitanya Charitamrita it's also in a sense starting from where Bhagavatam finishes, maybe not exactly, but it's certainly, just some extra nectar and some deeper perspectives in many cases. So they're all the best book. Isn't that good? The best, then the best, then the most best, and then the bestest. And there's no end to it, actually. Sometimes we feel the need to avoid the association of some devotees because we may not be advanced enough to be tolerant of how they may treat us sometimes. Is this considered Vaishnav aparad? That's a question that we hear sometimes. There's a certain situation with a certain devotee. Should I avoid the devotee? Well, it depends, but if the person is really offensive towards you and also to others, then it would be a good idea to, for the time being, maybe discreetly avoid them. But actually, the best thing would be to try either to help them yourself if you can, but it may be very difficult. If it's too difficult, then try and get someone more senior to help them. Yeah. Oh, is it okay to eat out at debonaires? How does that impact our Krishna consciousness? Some devotees say it's a vegan or vegetarian place, but the consciousness still lacks and is not so. And is it not as bad association? Well, in the Battle of Kurukshetra, Bhishma Dev was fighting against Krishna, against the Pandavas. But for so many years before that, he had been helping the Pandavas. Oh boy, he was just protecting them in so many ways. But then suddenly now, when the battle came, he's fighting against them, trying to kill them. What happened? Well, a few things happened, actually. But one thing that happened, which is mentioned by at least one of our acharyas, is that he ate food cooked by Duryodhana. Duryodhana was the chief of the bad guys. And he really was not a good person. He's described as an empowered incarnation of the personality of Kali Yuga. He's an incarnation of that person. And therefore, he's full of nonsense. So Bhishma ate food cooked by him, and that helped to change his mind in a bad way. So, it's not a good idea to eat food cooked by non-devotees. As much as possible, eat at home or take home cooked food to work. Shri Radha Radhanath, Sri Giri Govardhan, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. And debonaires, I've never been to one, but I wouldn't recommend. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Maharaj, for that very informative talk, and I'm sure everyone has some new inspiration for the new year. Dear devotees, we do have a few announcements, so please bear with me before we observe Aarti and Kirtan. I've been told that we do have some new guests here today, so if we could please just get them to raise their hands a little bit, just so we could see where you are. We do have 10 special gifts to give out, and Maharaj will personally be giving you these gifts. So if you could please come up to the front to receive your gift. We have one more gift pack if there is one more new person or someone that would like a gift pack. If someone is here for the second time or even third. Okay, now for our announcements. Just a reminder that the Nam Ruchi Festival starts today at New Jagannath Puri Temple in Phoenix. On the 1st of January 2026, it also marks the 20th anniversary of the New Jagannath Puri Temple. There will be a very special program with His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami, His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhagavata Swami, His Holiness Shubhag Swami, His Grace Medhavi Das, and His Grace Shuri Das. Shri Radha Radhanath will also be hosting their annual New Year's Day festival starting at 8:30 a.m. With fruit and flower offerings, followed by Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja and a class by His Grace Jagannananda Pandit Das. Just a reminder that Srila Prabhupada's book marathon also concludes on Sunday, the 4th of January, and there will be a Harinam on the 3rd of January. A very exciting announcement. Bhakti Theatre presents Radha Dasya at the Milkwood Theatre on the 10th of January 2026. Further details are available on the temple's social media pages. Finally, today's love feast has lovingly been prepared by the Food for Life team, headed by His Grace Ramananda Priyadas and his dedicated team. We would now like to observe Aarti and some Kirtan. Hare Krishna.
Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Caitanya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Hari. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanata Radha, Radhanata Radha, Radhanata Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radhanata Radha, Radhanata Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radhanata Radha, Radhanata Shri Radhe. Jaya Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam. Jaya Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Jaya Radhe Shyam. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gora 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 Hari. 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 Jaya Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari. Jaya Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Gora Hari, Jaya Gora Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo.
Jai Mishnapad, Paramahangs, Paravrajik Charis, Tadas Sishamad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Prem Sigahas Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki, Shishi Radha Krishna Gop Gopnath Shamkund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Shishi Radha Radhanath Ki, Shri Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Shri Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki, Shri Shinatai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Narasingaya. Praladala Dadayane. Hiranyakashipu Bhaksha. Silatam Kanakalaye. Eton Resinga Paraton Resinga. Yato Yato Yamitaton Resinga. Pahen Resinga Ridaen Resinga. Narasinghamadem Sharanam Prapadye. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakamad Bhutasringam Dalita Hiranyakashipo Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Ropa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Nrsingadev, 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 Akesa Vadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Nrsingadev, Nrsingadev, Jai Nrsingadev, Jai Nrsingadev, Nrsingadev, Jai Nrsingadev. Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Nrsingadev Bhagavan ke, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ke, Srila Prabhupada ke, Ga Premanande. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.